I'm not defensive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream and welcome to a massive week for Chelsea. We've got the FA Cup quarter-final draw coming up. We've got the big game against PSG on Wednesday night as well. And then we've got Newcastle in the Premier League on Saturday. We're going to be bringing you live reaction to that FA Cup quarter-final draw. And of course, we're going to look ahead to that big game in Paris on Wednesday night. Big up to every single one of you that's already locked in. Make sure you smash the likes, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. You guys know exactly what to do. But first things first, people, as always, a quick reminder, make sure you check out Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. You got your Chelsea retro kits, normal kits, home, away, whatever you want, Chelsea-wise, name, numbers, patches, whatever you guys fancy. And of course, there's other retro kits, other teams, World Cup tops, whatever you are looking for, guys. Great quality, affordable prices. Make sure you check it out. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off at Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. People, that is enough about that. How is everyone doing? Big up to everyone that is in the chat already. Let's see what you lot are saying. Big up to you, bro. Appreciate it. I think Chelsea will get Man City or Liverpool. Hopefully not. Draw at 7:05. Oh, I thought it was 6:05. Have I had a disaster, chat? Oh yeah, chat. I have had a disaster. 7:05 or 7 p.m. I thought the draw was at 6. I thought the draw was at 6:35. Oh well, not to worry. We've got plenty of time to chat then. Port Vale at home. Do you know, bro, we just deserve a home tie. You know, every tie in the Cup this season, both competitions, other than obviously the first leg of the semi-final at home, that is the only home game we've had in both Cups this season. We're just away every single time. Don't get me wrong, it's fun going away sometimes, you know, if it's a new ground and stuff or the journey's not too far, but we need a home tie. And to be honest, if we get a home tie, I don't really care who it is. But yeah, we'll get into all of that. Big up to you, bro. Yes, big up. Port Vale, please. Yes, big up, brother. I hope you're well. Yes, big up to you, bro. Is the draw live on YouTube? Yeah, it will be. I mean, I don't know what country you're based in, bro, but it'll be on the TNT Sports YouTube channel, UK. I'm sure you might be able to find it somewhere else as well. Big up, bro. Yes, big up to you, brother. But yeah, look, let's have a quick look at the FA Cup draw anyway. I got my timings slightly wrong. But we can still look through it anyway. So the quarterfinal draw coming up at around 7:05. So we've got Southampton, Port Vale, Man City, Leeds, Arsenal, Liverpool, ourselves, and then obviously West Ham or Brentford. Yeah, you don't really want any of Liverpool, Arsenal, or Man City away. Or Leeds for that matter, because Leeds away is just so far to go. Or Leeds, Liverpool, and Man City are just an absolute trek to go. Look, ultimately, you want Southampton or Port Vale, or you want a home tie. It's as simple as that. So you want Southampton or Port Vale. I don't think you really mind where they are, whether that's home or away. But ultimately, I think for me, I'd fancy ourselves at home against any of those teams. You know, I really would, particularly in a cup competition. I would fancy that. I would absolutely fancy it. Make no mistake about it. We deserve a home tie. I'm not out here saying, oh my God, we've been so hard done by the draws in terms of level of opponent, because we haven't really, other than Arsenal in the semi-final, and you expect to face difficult teams in the semi-final of a competition. We had what in the Carabao? We had Lincoln, Wolves, and Cardiff. And then in the FA Cup, we've had Wrexham, Hull, and Charlton Athletic. So I don't think we can complain too much about caliber of team that we've had, but I just don't want to see the usual culprits getting an easy draw. But look, it is what it is. We have to deal with what's in front of us. But if you were to get a Southampton or a Port Vale, I'm by no means saying that's a guarantee to the semi-finals, but you'd have to fancy your chances, wouldn't it? You'd have to fancy your chances. Make no mistake about it, chat. You'd be bang up for it. you would be bang up for it, people. You would be bang up for it. So, yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, look, when you get to the quarterfinals, inevitably chances are you're going to face a Premier League team. That's just the way that the FA Cup goes. You don't really get very many lower league sides getting to this stage of the competition. You might get the odd team from League One occasionally, and generally speaking, you maybe get one or two from the Championship. But generally, once you get to quarterfinal stage, it's very much all Premier League ties, which is what it is. Yeah, I obviously stopped myself from doing the little 6-7 meme when we got to Liverpool Chelsea. We've left that behind. We don't do that anymore. Got to a certain stage in life where I can't be doing that anymore. Big up to you, bro. What do you think about the Sancho back on a free, bro? There's no seriousness to that whatsoever. So yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about any of that. No, bro, I wouldn't fancy any opponents with that centre back pairing. But you get to a point in the competition where if you get to the quarterfinal stages, there's no piss taking. You know, you're one game away from Wembley. So yeah, that's the time where you think, right, guys, we need to lock in. We're not gonna be making 9-10 changes. We're going to be taking this seriously. No domestic silverware since 2018. Dreadful Wembley record. It's about time we put that right. And let's see what we can do. Yeah, smash the likes, people. Make sure you're running those likes up. Yes, big up to you, brother. So yeah, we'll see. Obviously, we want Southampton or Port Vale. Outside of that, anyone at home, I'm not too fussed. Give me anyone at home. Absolutely anyone at home. And I'm good. Let's move ahead to no, bro. The draw's not done. I thought the draw was at 6:05. It's actually at 7:05. So the draw's not really due off until another 50 odd minutes. Unfortunately, I got things a little bit wrong. So we got plenty of time to discuss stuff. Anyway, let's move away from that. Let's talk PSG, because the business end of the Champions League has arrived. We're running back the Club World Cup final. I think it's going to be a fascinating matchup with us and PSG. PSG not playing well at the moment. That's just the reality. They lost to Monaco 3-1 on Friday night. They're only a point clear of Lens at the top of Ligue 1 at the moment. Obviously got knocked out of the French Cup by Paris FC. So things aren't going particularly well for them. But then things weren't going particularly well for them in the Champions League last season either. You know, they scraped into the playoffs, and then once they beat Man City in that playoff round, they just went from strength to strength in the competition. And look, they're not nowhere. They're not the team they were last season. They're nowhere near as good as they were last season. But they've got serious players. In that team, and if they get to a point where they start clicking, your Dembeles, Barcolas, Doués, Kvaratskhelia, Vitinha, João Neves, you've got Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. Like this is a serious team. They're serious ballers. You think we sign a centre mid? I don't know. You wouldn't see the need to do so unless they feel that Asugu needs a loan or something like that. You wouldn't think that there's the need for another central midfielder to come in if Lavia and Asugu stay fit. The question mark is we don't know if Lavia and Asugu will or can stay fit. So yeah, it's something that I'm a little bit confused about. To be honest with this one, I'd start Garnacho. And I know it's unlikely that Garnacho will start because he played 90 against Villa. He played the full 120 against Wrexham. But he's in much better form than Pedro Neto. Much better form than Pedro Neto. We know that Neto will start for his defensive work rate, for, I guess, seniority as well. He is Chelsea's most senior winger. 26, I think, today or yesterday or whatever. But if you're going off form and you're going off merit, which team selection, in my opinion, should be, then it should be Garnacho starting this game on the left-hand side. And that's not really something that I was expecting to say, chap. It really wasn't something that I was expecting to say, because it's not been the best season for Garnacho. There's been a few moments here and there, nothing great, but the last 2 games, credit where credit's due. He's done very, very well. Very, very well in the last 2 games. And that's all you can ask. That's all you can ask. He's just got to keep doing what he's doing. That ability to arrive at the back post is very good. So yeah, I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting for Garnacho. I really do. Who starts in goal against PSG? Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't think this would be a conversation. I really didn't think this was going to be a conversation. But it is. And this is an interesting conversation, because Sanchez has had a very good season, right? Arsenal game, he was poor. But I didn't think that warranted him being dropped for Villa. And then against Wrexham, he looked like a bag of nerves. It looked like his confidence was shot. It looked like all the good work he'd done this season had been a little bit undone. It looked like he was second-guessing every decision that he was making. He was too indecisive for that opening goal. And as you say here, the fact that Jorgensen was completely left out of the squad, didn't even travel, along with the likes of Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, and Cole Palmer, it makes you think that, well, Jorgensen was almost certainly going to start. And it's an interesting one now. I mean, I just wanted to bring up something that Ben Jacobs said on a stream the other day about the Jorgensen and Sanchez situation, because let's be honest, right? Sanchez is probably a little bit better, but for me personally, there's not an awful lot in it. It's not like night and day. It's not like Donnarumma and, let's say, the Burnley goalkeeper, for example. There's not that caliber of difference between the goalkeepers. But I don't know. Did Sanchez really need to be dropped? I don't think he did. So this is from Ben Jacobs on a stream with Alex Goldberg. Speaking to sources, I sense that Rosenior feels that Jorgensen is the one that is more comfortable coming out of his box more often. Yeah, I guess so. Within Chelsea, I don't think they feel there is a lot of difference between Jorgensen and Sanchez. Whoever starts in the next league game will be interesting. The arrival of Mike Penders in the summer could also complicate the goalkeeping situation. So we've got a massive decision to make between the sticks in the summer. A huge decision to make between the sticks in the summer, because if we're being brutally honest, in my opinion, neither Sanchez nor Jorgensen are good enough to be title-winning goalkeepers for Chelsea. You can finish top 4, top 5 with either of those. You could win a cup competition with either of those. And if that's what we're happy to be, then you don't need to make a change. But if you're striving for more than that, if you want more than that, then you've got to be striving for bigger and better. Pender's only 20 years of age. This is his first season currently at Strasbourg in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. He's looked good. He's put in some impressive performances. But again, I think you'd be taking a huge risk putting him in next season after just 1 year at Strasbourg, a 21-year-old goalkeeper being Chelsea's number 1. He's not a Thibaut Courtois. He's not on that level. Could he get to that level? Quite possibly. But if you're going age by age, he's not. Penders is not a Thibaut Courtois level at this point in time. Nowhere near in my opinion. And yes, he tops a lot of the distribution stats in Ligue 1 at the moment. But what I would caveat that by saying is as well that Petrovic had an outstanding season in Ligue 1 last season. Absolutely outstanding season in Ligue 1 last year. Topped a load of the metrics, particularly on the ball stuff. And you wouldn't say that he's a particularly good player on the ball, good keeper on the ball. And he got a move to Bournemouth and he's done okay. You know, no, you're not really hearing anything about him. Penders has got loads of potential, but for me, it doesn't serve Penders any good, in my opinion, to come to Chelsea and be number one next season. He needs another year. He needs another year at Strasbourg, in my view. Another year, and then we stick him in. And then we stick it in maybe the season after. You put him in a 27-28 campaign. That, for me, would make more sense. And maybe you sign yourself an older, more experienced goalkeeper, just like you had the Czech Courtois situation. Penders learning from a Sanchez or a Jorgensen, if they're still here, is not a good idea, in my view. Not a good idea. Is all I would say. Not a good idea. Chat, we're 15 likes away from 50, coming up to 100 in the building. Make sure you're smashing that like button, subscribe if you're new around here as well, but get these likes up, chat. Get them up, get them up. Penders is too young. I agree. Yeah, and this is true. And I think as well, by the way, I would say overall Sanchez is the better goalkeeper, but there's not an awful lot in it. I think it's obvious that Jorgensen will start against PSG, in my view, given he was left out the squad against Wrexham, and no one really asked about it. There was no communication, given that he was ill or he'd picked up a knock, or whatever it might be. My only issue with this right now is, and Rossini has said it a number of times, chat, is that he says he doesn't work with a number one. He just picks the team. He picks the goalkeeper based on the opposition. Now, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of that at all. Because the one area of the pitch you want continuity is that triangle. Goalkeeper, two centre-backs. You want continuity. You want that triangle. And chopping and changing your goalkeeper is not a good idea. It's not a good idea. It leads to instability. It leads to nervousness. You know, centre-backs are going to have different relationship with different goalkeepers. Different goalkeepers are going to play in slightly different ways. Some will be more vocal than others. Some will do, different things. And having like Jorgensen in goal against Villa and PSG, and then you stick Sanchez in against Newcastle, and then you maybe get to Everton and away and you think, actually, that'll be a game for Jorgensen. It only ever ends one way when you're chopping and changing your keeper. And that's badly. The most recent example I can think of, we don't work with a number one nonsense, was Arteta with Ramsdale and David Raya. That was the last time I can remember something like that. It's not right. It's not right for me. The only reason you should be changing your goalkeeper is cup competition, injury, or you've lost faith in your number one because he's been on a terrible run of form. Those are the only circumstances you should be changing your goalkeeper. Not because you think, this goalkeeper will be good for this opposition, and then we'll switch the goalkeeper again for this game and whatnot. No, goalkeepers are different to outfield players. You're not changing your goalkeeper unless they're having a shocking run of form or they're injured. That's the reality, chat. That's the reality. So, in terms of what I think we should do next season, Penders, for me, shouldn't be at Chelsea next season. However, a big part of me feels, depending on how he finishes the season at Strasbourg, a big part of me feels that Penders will be there will be at Chelsea next season. I wouldn't be surprised if Penders was competing with Sanchez to be number one and Jorgensen gets sent to Strasbourg. I could easily see a situation like that happening. And I don't want to say that we would be weakening the goalkeeping position if we have Penders as number one next season. But I think to start with, you would be weakening the goalkeeping position because Penders doesn't have that Premier League experience, doesn't have the experience in general. And so Sanchez right now is a better goalkeeper than Penders. He is. Penders has got loads of ability and will almost certainly have a better career than Sanchez and be better than Sanchez in my view. But right now, if you're asking me who's better at this stage of their careers, Sanchez is better than Penders as a goalkeeper currently. Sanchez, they didn't have the Caicedo outball on Saturday, but, you know, I think it's important to say as well with Sanchez, and it feels mad doing Sanchez prop and doing up Sanchez defence here, but he was in the shout for Chelsea Player of the Season up until Arsenal. And a poor game at Arsenal, was dropped, looked nervous at Wrexham, not great. But that recency bias shouldn't detract from the fact he's had a very good season. However, he needs to be improved on. For me, he needs to be upgraded if we're serious. I don't really know. I think another season at Strasbourg. But if you could get him a Premier League loan at a team where he will play week in, week out. I mean, I don't know what team in the Premier League would take a 20-year-old goalkeeper as their number one. You'd maybe look at a newly promoted side, but the only way that a Prem loan works is if he's going to play every week. And I'm just not sure what clubs would take him to be their number one next season. Bro, Manyan signed a new contract. Yeah, so I don't see us revisiting that. I really don't see us revisiting it, which is a shame, really, because I think we should have done it in the summer. Ultimately, the way that Sanchez has played, it's not been as big an issue as it potentially could have been. But it's disappointing nonetheless. So that's kind of the situation with the goalkeepers. But I would expect Jorgensen to start, but no one saw Sanchez being dropped coming. So I guess it could be similar again. Would it be a total surprise if Sanchez played against PSG? No, it wouldn't be a total surprise at all. And having that uncertainty in the goalkeeping department is not good. It's not good. Yeah, it's not ideal. So yeah, we're gonna see, chat. We're gonna see. We will see. Just wanted to cover one other thing from that Ben Jacobs stream before we get back to the PSG game in general. And that was about Morgan Rogers because where is it? So he's saying that I'm not sharing, am I? He's saying that Chelsea want a central, versatile attacker in the summer. I don't think an out-and-out left winger is on the radar because they pitched Taquenda to be a left wing. And he goes on to add that the name he keeps hearing is Morgan Rogers. Now, we had this whole Morgan Rogers situation last summer. We never made the bid. We never made a bid. It never really went anywhere. Could we try something this summer? Quite possibly. Rogers signing a new contract until 2030 last year doesn't really mean anything. It's just an asset protection scenario for Villa to get more out of him, to get a higher fee. It looks like Villa will have to make a big sale this summer. But what sort of money we're looking at for Rogers? Would they demand 100 mil? I don't know. I would love Morgan Rogers. I think he ticks that versatile attacker, can come in off the left, can play centrally as well. It makes sense. It does make sense, but there's a part of me that still just thinks, I can't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. Give me Leeds at home. Yeah, run it. Who do I want in the next round? I mean, anyone at home, to be honest. But ideally, I want a Port Vale or a Southampton, like I think everyone does, or Leeds. Port Vale, Southampton, or Leeds. Although Leeds comes with the caveat of needing to be at home. Leeds needs to be at home. Now, Rodgers' top draw. The FA Cup draw is meant to be at 7:05, so in about 30 minutes. In about 30 minutes' time, that's when the draw is meant to happen. But yeah, hopefully, maybe it'll be a bit sooner or not. I don't know. Even if they get Champions League, obviously that's a big factor in him staying. But I still think, regardless of the Champions League money, Aston Villa might have to make a big sale. They might have to make a big sale. And Rodgers is really the only asset they've got that's worth serious money. The only asset they've got that's worth serious money. And I would love Morgan Rodgers to come to Chelsea. I would love it. I think he's top class. I think he's top class. But I want Arsenal at home. I'm sick and tired of losing to them. This should stop this season. Yeah, to be honest, a fifth meeting against Arsenal this season, I don't really want it, but I'm happy to run it back. I'm happy to run it back as long as it's not at Emirates. As long as it's not at Emirates, I'm happy to run it back. Happy to run that back. But yeah, look, the Rodgers links, again, I don't think they're going away. I think it's going to be another one of those where you're like, yeah, okay, maybe this is going to happen. Maybe we will be a bit more serious about it this time. It's possible. It's definitely possible. But we have to wait and see, chap. Here for the Chelsea. Big up to you, bro. Yeah, run it up, guys. How many likes are we on? How many likes are we on? We're 125 in the building. Only 55 likes, chat. Chat, that's really poor. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Get this up to 100 likes, people. Smash that like button and subscribe if you're new around here as well. The viewers to likes ratio is poor, and the community is better than that. So let's run it up, chat. Run it up. Sell Tossin and bring in Rodgers so that Palmer is still happy. I mean, look, Palmer's happy anyway. Rodgers will be the main number 10 for England. I think he will. I think Rodgers will start ahead of Palmer at the World Cup. I do genuinely believe that, because he is in much better form. Unfortunately, he is in a lot better form right now, and that in itself is yeah, that is a concern for Palmer. But as I said before, from a selfish perspective, I'd rather Cole Palmer didn't go to the World Cup. I really would, because unless he picks up his form, he's barely gonna play anyway. He's barely gonna play anyway, and so there's no point in him just having a few bench minutes here and there. I'd rather he didn't go. Do you think playing a Prem side is better to play because playing a lower side means more changes? No, not necessarily, because I think when you get to the quarterfinal stage of the Cup, you shouldn't be making loads of changes because you're one game away from Wembley. Yeah, I would say so, because I think Rodgers can give you so much from that left-hand side coming in, and he can provide you, and he can play at number 10 if Palmer plays on the right. So I think absolutely both of them can coexist in the squad, and both of them can definitely coexist in the team as well. You know, they can coexist in the squad and they can coexist in the team. So yeah, I think absolutely for me, that's going to be good. And I'd be here for it. I would be here for it. Not as well as he was earlier on in the season, but he's still having a good season. I think they will even start Bellingham over Palmer. Yeah, Bellingham's a shoo-in for England, in my opinion. But anyway, let's move away from that. Let's get back to the task at hand, PSG, because the boys were in training today, but there was no Esteval pictured in training, and there was no Reece James either. Now, I don't think it's anything to get concerned about, but yeah, Chelsea training today ahead of PSG. Didn't see Reece or Esteban in the pictures. I mean, ultimately, they might not have been pictured anyway. I think that's Jamie Gittins there. If you can see where my cursor is, chat, I think Jamie Gittins back in training. Rossini said he was very close ahead of the Wrexham game. And so it looks like he's back in training, back in the squad. So we will wait and see on that one. But yeah, there's Gittins in training there. So that's potentially back from an injury. Gittins, obviously Palmer in training, left out against Wrexham completely. And obviously Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo in training as well as Romeo Lavia, Dario Asugu as well. So it should be a clean bill of health heading to PSG. Should be a clean bill of health heading to PSG. The draw is meant to be at 7:05. 7:05. Yeah, I'm surprised that Port Vale beat Sunderland as well. I really am. But sometimes going to those much lower league, I mean, like Port Vale are bottom of League One, but sometimes going to those tough away grounds can be a leveler. It can absolutely be a leveler. But yeah, they shouldn't have lost. Draw 7:05. Yeah, of course PSG will be looking for revenge. Oh yeah, because this is the first time I've seen Bill since we cooked them 4-1. Yes, hopefully Bill does turn up. Hopefully he does turn up. He was cooked in the group chat, but yeah, I'm sure Bill will turn up. We'll get into that as well. We'll get into that. But yeah, so the boys back in training. This PSG game, yeah, Cucurella is ready to start. He came on at the 65-minute mark against Wrexham, and he basically played an hour. If you include extra time, he played about 65. He played about 65 minutes if you include extra time. So yeah, I don't see any issues there with Cucurella or anything like that. Chat, keep smashing the like button as well. 65 likes. We got to run this up, people. This has got to be. We've got to make this higher. We've got to get these likes higher. Yes, big up to you, bro. We absolutely shouldn't. We should not be playing a back five. We should be going with our strongest team. We should be going with our strongest team, and I think we should be playing. I think we should be playing Reece James in midfield over Santos. In my view, it should be Reece James in midfield over Santos. In my opinion, because I think he just gives you a bit more physicality. I know Santos knows Ligue 1. I know he's played against PSG on a number of occasions. I'm not saying he's not up to the task or anything like that, but for these big games, I'd be wanting Reece in there. That physicality, that quality up against Joao Neves, up against Vitinha. It'll probably be up against Warren Zaire-Emery as well because Fabian Ruiz is injured. Fabian Ruiz is injured. So for me, I'd have Reece in there. Then you have the usual Enzo, Cole, Palmer. Personally, I'd have Garnacho on the left because I think he's in better form than Neto. But Neto, I think, will play. And then you have João Pedro up front. And then from there, you go Gusto, Trev, Fofana, and Cucurella. And I think it will be Jorgensen in goal. But for me, Reece needs to be in midfield. I mean, chat, let me know your thoughts. Because you look at PSG right now, they're struggling. I've done a preview with the Parisian Londoner. Big up to my guy. Dropped it on the channel earlier. So once this stream is out, make sure you go over and check out that video. Loads of great insight on PSG, the weaknesses, what Chelsea can potentially exploit. But I think from a defensive standpoint, PSG can be got at. They're conceding a lot of goals. They likely will give us space. We'll likely have space. And we've seen that we can be devastating when teams give us space. We were devastating against Villa. PSG in the final, there was space. Against teams that give us space, I feel confident in our abilities. it's when we don't have space to exploit where things are more difficult for us. But we will see. But I feel confident. Yeah, no, they do. I mean, look, again, last season, PSG dreadful in the knockout in the league phase, and then picked it up in the knockout phase. But they kind of turned their season around before March. This is not the same PSG side of last season. This is a PSG side that Luis Enrique himself said is low on confidence, is struggling for confidence right now. And you can't just find confidence. You don't just find confidence in the space of a few days. It's like, great, guys, we found our confidence. Now let's go and play like we were playing last season. However, from a defensive point of view, we've got to be on it. Because if we make mistakes, if we're leaving spaces in behind, Dembele, Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Barcola, all these guys, pace, skill, directness, they'll carve us open. They will absolutely carve us open. But look, for me, we don't even need to win at the Parc des Princes. We just need to make sure we're in the tie. We need to make sure that we don't lose. And if we do lose, make sure you're not losing by more than a goal. Make sure you don't lose by more than a goal. And that way you're still in a tie. I think for me, the only way I'd be very concerned is if we lose by more than a goal. If we lose by 2 goals, I think we could be in trouble. It's not impossible, but you don't want a deficit of more than a goal. You don't want a deficit of more than a goal. So we've got to make sure we stay in the tie. But I think with the form that Joao Pedro's in as well, absolutely sensational form. No, you won't see Tosin or Badiashile. Like they'll both be on the bench, or they'll be like they might not even make the match day squad. They'll probably be on the bench, but yeah, you'll be very unlikely. You'll be very unlikely to see them because because they're shit basically. And we can't be seeing those guys anymore. We can't be seeing those guys anymore. I don't think we will. But this is a real test for this team, a real test, because as much as Enrique's been saying that his team aren't looking for revenge over the summer, you know the PSG fans will be looking for it. And you also know as well, by the way, you know that those PSG players, they won't have forgotten about that either. They won't have forgotten about it. And they'll want some form of revenge. They'll want to knock Chelsea out of the Champions League. They won't want to be the holders and go out in the last 16. You don't want the holders going out in the last 16. I know for us as holders in the old group stage, when we won it in 2012, we went out in the group stage in the next season. That's horror. That's horror. It's not something you want. Bro, we've not forgotten about those Enrique antics either. Those Enrique antics, they've not been forgotten about. They've absolutely not been forgotten about. Nah, bro, we're not on this. We're not on this. I don't want that. I don't want that. Look, we're already playing Man City at Stamford Bridge. I don't want any more games against Man City or Arsenal. No more games against Man City or Arsenal. Like, it's just not needed. Oh, hold on, chat. Oh no, I've clipped. No. It's not. I thought it started. Scheduled to start in 20 minutes, chat. The draw scheduled to start in 20 minutes. But look, I think our best chance is what? It's also a plus. Look, Warren Zaire-Emery is a top baller. We haven't got City. No, Warren Zaire-Emery is a serious baller, but he's not Fabian Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz missing for PSG is a big blow. Look, Marquinhos is not the Marquinhos of old, but him and Pacho is still a good partnership. The goalkeeper is where we can take some advantage potentially, because they're more than likely going to have Safonov in goal, the Russian keeper. He's nowhere near the quality of Donnarumma. Nowhere near the quality of a Donnarumma. And he's not great. Chevalier has not been great. And so if you've got a shaky defence, PSG normally were bailed out by Donnarumma. But now they've not got a Donnarumma. They've got a shaky defence. And then when that gets exposed, they've also got a shaky goalkeeper. So that back four, back five, including the goalkeeper, that can be exposed, chat. That can absolutely be exposed through Palmer, Joao Pedro, maybe Neto. If you can get those balls over the top for Pedro to run onto, or if Pedro can be up against those centre backs, good hold up play, bullying those defenders. There's chances here for us, chat. There are absolutely chances for us. And do we need to win this game? No. I'll take the draw right now. I would take the draw right now. But I also think PSG probably fancy their chances at Stamford Bridge as well. And with no away goals, not winning your home tie in the first leg, it doesn't matter as much. If you concede at home, it doesn't matter that much because those goals aren't worth double. Those goals aren't worth double. So yeah, it's looking interesting. It's looking very interesting. But how are you lot feeling about it, chat? Because it feels strange feeling reasonably confident going into the first leg of a last 16 tie away at the defending champions. It feels a bit wrong having this level of confidence. It does feel a bit wrong. It doesn't feel right, sort of thinking that, do you know what? Yeah, we've got a real good chance at these. We've got a real good chance at these. A real good chance. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if Pedro can continue his form, then that's going to be absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational if he can continue that form. No doubt about it. We get Arsenal, you watch, PSG can't beat us. Well, they can beat us, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, look, I think you'd have more confidence with Maresca because you've seen him be that. He's been there and done it. Whereas with Rafinha, you know, the big games that we've had under Rafinha, we've lost them all. All 3 games against Arsenal were the big games, and we lost every single one. So I understand, you know, to a certain extent, having pessimism about big games under Rafinha because all the big games we've had under him, we've lost. Yeah, sure. You know, we've not been outplayed in them, you know, fine margins, individual mistakes and whatnot. But they've been us making the mistakes and us on the wrong end of the fine margins. So I understand why people would feel a bit more confident with Maresca because he kind of been there, done that, got the t-shirt in the sense of those big games. Chat, we're less than 20 likes away from 100. Smash that like button. Get this up over 100 likes. We're almost there now, chat. 116 in the building, 81 likes. Get it up to 100 likes and keep subscribing if you're new round here as well. The FA Cup draw is now 15 minutes away, according to TNT. We are 15 minutes away from the FA Cup quarter-final draw. What's Maresca up to these days? Probably just chilling, and then he's going to get back into a job in the summer, and he'll be managing next season. That's what Maresca's doing right now. Well, that makes 2 of us. That makes 2 of us. Yeah, we got to keep our discipline as well. Yeah, 100% we got to keep our discipline. We all know the discipline's got to be kept. You've got to keep the discipline. You have to. You know, you have to keep discipline. Because if we start getting stupid bookings, stupid red cards, I think Enzo Fernandez and Andre Santos are the only two players that, if they get booked, would miss the second leg for us. So if Santos or Enzo Fernandez get booked, then they will be ruled out of the second leg. They would be ruled out. Yeah, they'd be ruled out. So Santos or Enzo Fernandez, they're booked. They missed the second leg. I'll be honest. I'd rather Santos out. If one of them has to get booked, then you'd rather Santos. You'd rather Santos gets booked out of the two, because you've got Lavia, you've got Asugu. Whereas Enzo Fernandez, yes, obviously, you can get by them, but yeah, I suppose Napoli was a big game. Yeah, I'll give you that. Fair enough. But okay, look, one in four in the big games. Then 1 in 4 in the big game since he's been here, which is not great. Well, PSG do have Brazilians. They got Marquinhos at the back. Their captain's Brazilian. I wouldn't say the defense has gotten worse. We're just conceding a lot of set pieces. So it looks like the defense has got worse. It looks like the defense has got worse, but I actually don't think it is worse, personally. I don't think it is worse, personally. But yeah, we'll see. No, not quite. Rossinia did say before Wrexham that he was back out running on the grass, but he's not been pictured in training. He's not been pictured in training. So yeah, let's see. Well, from an attacking point of view in the set pieces, I think we're better. But yeah, defensively from set pieces, yeah, look, we're absolutely miles off it. We're absolutely miles off it from a defensive point of view in regards to set pieces. So that's absolutely something that we need to improve on. 100% we need to improve on it, chat. And hopefully we do. Rossignol said he's going to take more of an active role in defending set pieces, which suggested to me that, do you know what? Actually, he wasn't involved in the defensive side of in defending set pieces at all, which is a bit strange. So no, the defenders as well. The marking from set pieces, they're picking up the right players. It's all it's all mad. Well, as long as it's a Stamford Bridge, I'd take that. I would take that. Yeah, bro. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with our marking from set pieces. I really don't know, but it's beyond poor. It is beyond poor. And it's something that if we don't fix up, we're going to get exposed. We're going to get exposed, and it's going to cost us games. We've already been exposed, and it's already cost us a number of points. It cost us at least 2 points against Arsenal. It cost us 2 points against Burnley. That shit's not good enough. That shit is not good enough, chat. It just isn't. Remember all those goals Reece scored a couple of seasons ago against Arsenal, Newcastle, and I feel if we can get him in the box down the PSG left side, it could be killer. I think he might play in midfield. I genuinely believe Reece will play in midfield on Wednesday. I really do think that. I really think Reece will be in midfield. Well, look, if it's done properly, it's not that bad. But for me, I would just prefer the old-fashioned man to man. Everyone mark their man, and if someone doesn't mark their man, then you know whose fault it is, and there's no blaming. There's no just people looking at each other and blaming each other. You know, ultimately, just do it. No, it's not hard. It's not hard, but yet this group seem intent on making it really difficult. Yeah, that's what I'd go with. Like we saw against Arsenal in the league, away from home. That's what I would go with. And as much as I like Andre Santos, I just think in these really big games, I just don't think he's quite ready for the physical battle. I just don't think he's quite ready for that physical battle. So we'll see. It's big up to you, bro. Nope, Cole's not out for the weekend. Gusto would be right back. Yeah, I don't know. It would just make sense to do that every time. Surely it would just make sense to do that every time. I don't understand why that stopped being a thing. Oh, hold on, chat. No, I think the draw. We might be. There's an advert now on this. Hold on. Are we start? Oh no, we're not starting. Oh, they are live though. They are live. It is now live, but yeah, we'll have to wait a little bit. We'll have to wait a little bit. I don't think they're quite there yet, but we're not a million miles off, chat. We're not a million miles off. Yeah, Gusto right back overlapping, Reece in midfield. I thought Asugu was very good against Wrexham. I know it's one game, just his first game of the season, but I thought he looked calm, composed. Lovely assist for Garnacho's goal. Yeah, look, I liked what I saw and I thought it was impressive. But it's one game. It's one game against a championship side. We've not seen a single thing of him in the Premier League. But from what I saw, I was impressed and it was a good performance. But it's nothing more than that. I don't think it's any time to be getting carried away about, oh my God, Asugu's unreal and all this and all that. But that performance in isolation was good. It was good. I liked what I saw. And I think, you know, he's someone that can also kind of play an important role between now and the end of the season. He's another one. He's another one. Yeah. Give me Port Vale at home. Yeah, just win. Hope we get luck today. Me too. Yeah, smash the likes. Yeah, good. Lavia and Asugu back. Yeah, our right back needs to play in midfield. Yeah, but the thing is though, bro, Lavia and Asugu aren't ready to be starting games at this point. You have to understand that Asugu's been out all season and you don't just chuck players straight back in. And Lavia, you know, is very specific rehab program with him. Very specific. You know, we're not going to be taking chances and giving him more minutes than necessary at this point in time. So that is why I would play Reece in midfield, because those players need to build up their fitness. Yeah, exactly. They need to build their fitness up. You know, it's not about, oh, these guys are available and ready to play. I'm not saying that I'd play Reece James in midfield over a fully fit Romeo Lavia. Absolutely not. But it's great that Lavia's back. It's great that he's been playing minutes. But as you saw in the Wrexham game, he was off it, and it's going to take him a while to get back up to pace. It's going to take him a while to get back up to pace. So yeah, James in the midfield is equally as good. Man of the match against Man City, up against Rodri. Man of the match against Declan Rice in midfield in the Carabao Cup. You know, sorry, in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. So yeah, all the pendants from this past weekend, all over Wrexham. What do you think? Pendants? You mean pundits? Yeah, it's standard. They didn't get the magic of the cup. They didn't get the result that they wanted. And so suddenly it's like, oh my God, VAR's such a terrible thing. they were the right decisions at the end of the day. Since when was making the right decision so controversial? Come on, chap. 3 likes to 100. Smash that like button. Run it up. Run it up. Yeah, it was the right decision, but it was still wrong. I mean, what the fuck's Ben Foster talking about? It was the right decision, but it was wrong. Bro, I get it. You played for Wrexham. You wanted them to get to a penalty shootout or whatever. But we just want the right decision. Yes, I will travel to Paris. I will travel to Paris. Exactly. It absolutely was an agenda against us. It absolutely was an agenda against us. there's no doubt about it, chat. It was a full-on agenda against us from a pundit's point of view. And absolutely, look, the squad depth is nowhere near good enough. We know it's not. You know, those players came in, 9 changes, back 5, and yeah, the squad depth's not good enough. But we didn't need to see that game against Wrexham to know that the squad depth's not been good enough. We've known all season that the squad depth is nowhere near the level required, and I still baffles me. It still baffles me that we spent all that money and that's kind of what we've got. Still baffles me. No updates on Colwell. No updates on Colwell. Don't want to say what. When will Levi Colwell return to training? I've got absolutely no idea. I don't know. I think he's obviously he'll be doing some stuff. I think he's been doing some running and things like that. But I'd be very surprised if we saw Colwell this season. There's no need to. There's really no need to. Oh, I write for a Chelsea news website. So I write about Chelsea, write about football for a website. There we go. I wouldn't say clear out, but there'll certainly be a number of players moving on, as seems to be the case most summers. Most summers, that seems to be the case. There'll be players moving on. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But yeah, FA Cup draw coming up very shortly. Chelsea will be ball number 7. Nope, they're not real. They're not real. Yeah, 100% as a squad player. I don't think he should be starting week in, week out, but as a squad player, yeah, absolutely I'd keep him. Absolutely I'd keep him. Big up to you, bro. Yeah, Cole is fine. Do you think Delap is here next season? Probably, but I wouldn't be shocked if he wasn't. It wouldn't. I think he probably will be here. I think he'll get one more season, but it wouldn't come as a surprise whatsoever if he wasn't here. It genuinely wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, I think Reece will play against PSG. It's big up to you, Jimmy. I would agree that Delap probably does need a loan, but I don't think we will be loaning him out. I don't think we will be loaning him out, but we'll see. We'll see. But it's big up to you, bro. He'll obviously return. He'll obviously return to the squad after his loan at Bayern. Chelsea, I think, obviously going to look for a solution. Also, all options are reportedly still on the table when it comes to Nicholas Jackson. But I'd be surprised if he played for Chelsea next season. I think that the main sort of deal is to still look to move him on. Yeah, I also agree on that. I also agree. Port Vale or Southampton, obviously, or just anyone at home. Port Vale or Southampton, or just anyone at home. But it doesn't need to be a pairing because Pedro plays up front on his own. He plays up front on his own. So yeah, I don't know. But Pedro and Jackson is a much better two than Pedro and Delap. It just is. Jackson is miles better than Delap. No, I don't think so. It'll be Mark Gurhey and probably Quansah or Gurhey and Stones maybe. But Trev should be in the World Cup squad. Absolutely, Trev should be in the World Cup squad in my view. Has this started yet? Why is this still not started? Guys, it's 7:05. Come on. What's going on here? We've had 9 minutes of nonsense. Why are we waiting? But Trev should be in the World Cup squad. No doubt about it. I just don't want an away game. I just don't want an away game. Please not away from home. No, still hasn't started. Still not started. No, I don't think it has, bro. No, I don't think it has started. We're just looking at an Emirates FA Cup. Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay. Okay, chat. Okay, chat. We might be in business. Right, well, the program has now started. Let's get to the draw and let's get these balls out. Pause. Let's get the balls out of the bag. Here we go. Fletch and McCoist. They're presenting the draw. Oh, come on, boys. Chelsea will be ball number 7, chat. Ball number 7. We've got Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, Port Vale, Southampton, and then a West Ham or Brentford. We've got Joe Hart and Joe Cole doing the draw. Come on, Coley. Coley, please do us a favour. I think Coley's going to draw the home sides and Joe Hart's going to draw the away sides. Guys, we don't need all this chat. Genuinely, we don't need all this chat. Spare me the chat. Let's get these balls. Let's empty them out. I need to find a way of not saying this. Empty these balls, because that's just a bit mental. It's a bit mad. We just need to empty the balls. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Southampton are ball 1, Port Vale 2, City 3, Leeds 4, Arsenal 5, Liverpool 6, Chelsea 7, West Ham or Brentford are ball 8. Okay, that can now come off the screen. Come on, lads. Let's get this going. Here we go. Joe Cole has got the balls. In they go. Yes, here we go, people. FA Cup quarter-final draw. FA Cup quarter-final draw. Okay. Here we go. Joe's in. Hand is in. What's he brought out first ball? Number 1, Southampton. Southampton at home. I tell you what, I take Southampton away. Come on, Hart. Joe Hart, get number 7 out. Number 7. Come on, number 7. Oh, are you joking? Southampton versus Arsenal. Fuck's sake. Arsenal away at Southampton. Really? This is a joke. Yes! Chelsea at home. Come on. Home tie. Home tie against number 2. Yes! Yes! Chelsea versus Port Vale at Stamford Bridge. Go on the 2 Joes. Love that. Chelsea versus Port Vale at Stamford Bridge. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to Wembley. Yes. Very lucky for us. Manchester City at home. Against Liverpool. And that means it'll be West Ham or Brentford versus Leeds. But in what order? Number 8. So West Ham or Brentford will be at home to Leeds United. That literally couldn't have gone any better. That couldn't have gone any better. Literally couldn't have gone any better for us at all. Port Vale at Stamford Bridge, chat. Yes. Wembley's calling, people. Wembley is calling. Big up to Joey Cole and to Joe Hart, by the way, as well. We're going to Wembley. I don't want to take it for granted, chat, but I think we're going to Wembley. I think we're going to Wembley. So let me just bring up the full draw on screen. Port Vale at home. This is the draw. Full draw. Man City versus Liverpool. Southampton versus Arsenal. Port Vale versus Chelsea. He's got it the wrong way around. And West Ham or Brentford versus Leeds. There we go, chat. Port Vale at home. What a time to be alive. It'll be played straight after the international break. So it'll be the weekend of the 7th and 8th of April. It'll be that weekend. Oh, God. Yeah, actually could be. Tosin and Badia Shield could well play that game. Chelsea drawn at home. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I'm delighted, chat. Absolutely delighted. Oh, I'm so pleased. Port Vale at home. Bro, Port Vale are bottom of League One. If it was at Port Vale, I'd give them a very small chance. But it's at Chelsea, so no idea, because they don't like the Champions League. They'll do another draw for that. There'll be another draw for it. But that's all done. FA Cup quarter-final draw. Completed it, chat. Completed it. That couldn't have gone any better. That was literally the best draw we could possibly get. First cup game at home as well. Yeah, also true. Semi-finals are at Wembley, so the draw doesn't really matter that much. Obviously, you'd rather play the weakest team, but yeah, once you get Wembley, it makes no difference. Yeah, exactly. Semi-final. Chelsea, I'm not saying we're in the semi-final, but that's as close to a guarantee to being in the semi-final as you can get. So yeah, there we go. Right, chat. Fantastic news. I'm gonna have to go now. Need to get some food, and then I'm on with Potts Race for Europe at 8 p.m. people. So make sure you tune in for that one. But big up to every single one of you in the chat. Love for all the support as always. Please smash the like button on your way out. Please subscribe if you are new around here, and I will catch you lot again tomorrow. PSG stuff tomorrow, chat. Make sure you come and join me for that content. And if you've not checked it out, make sure you check out the PSG match preview with the Parisian Londoner. Please go and show that video some love. But yeah, guys, smash the like, subscribe. We're going to Wembley. Catch you lot at 8 p.m. on Race for Europe, up the Chelsea, and we're out of here. Love.